All right.
Hey, everybody. How you doing? I'm Anthony.
And I'm Nate.
We're wearing our Christmas merch.
Yeah.
That's a great
Punish.
sweater. Cool. Awesome. Well, if you're in the chat, we always like to know where you're from in the States.
Yeah.
So just, tell us, where are you from? And let us know also if you've seen the movie. This interview with Mike, it's not going to be a long interview. We have a few questions for him, but if we'd like to open it up to you guys, because you guys have questions, obviously, but we're going to ask ours first. And this will be a spoiler, review, because the movie is out. And so there are going to be things we're going to be talking about. So if you haven't seen the movie,
Right.
It's your choice.
We're going to try our best not to talk about like every little thing that happens in the whole movie.
Right.
But we are not going to be completely spoiler free.
Right. Exactly. Cool. We got Connecticut. Holly, I'm from Connecticut. I grew up there. Very, very cool. I grew up in West Hartford, Connecticut. That's cool. Bronx, New York. Awesome. Minnesota. Nice. Columbus, New York. Very, very cool. Let us know. And I do see that Slasher Horror Movies 1 says they love the movie. Yes, it's such a great movie. It's so different. It's such a different film than the original movie. And I'm a purist. I love the original Silent Night, Deadly Night so much, and so does Nate. So seeing this different iteration of it was really special for us. Lexington, Kentucky, cool. Nebraska, North Carolina, nice.
People from all over.
Yeah, I love this. I think this is amazing. Now, we don't have Mike in the waiting room yet, right, Nate?
He just got here.
Oh, he just got, okay, cool. So let's hold on for a second. We'll be bringing our special guest on in a second, but also as another treat during this live stream, we're going to be giving away a couple of games and prizes. They're all Silent Night, Deadly Night based. We want like a theme here. And so we're going to be giving away to a lucky recipient the actual board game of Silent Night, Deadly Night. This was our very first game. We used to be called Stop the Killer Games. Most of our products have our Stop the Killer logo on them. We are now beyond Killer Games, but we started out as Stop the Killer Games. We're also giving away a card game, which is our Silent Night, Deadly Night Hex deck. Very fun solitaire game. And then we're going to be giving away, lastly, one of our Silent Night, Deadly Night limited edition holiday ornaments. And it was to celebrate last year's 40th anniversary of the original film. It is a mini version of the axe that is on the wall behind Nate, which we love to point out. Other hand, right?
It's still hard to do that.
Tell them what that is.
That's the screen used axe from the original movie.
Can you believe it? That's the axe that Billy used in the movie, the prop axe. We did a 3D scan, we shrunk it down, and we created this super fun holiday ornament with an Iris Toys stocking. It's made out of resin, and it's painted exactly like that axe. You can see the paint job. It looks exactly the same. It's 5 inches, and you can put it on. I have a Christmas tree. I put it on my tree. If you don't celebrate Christmas, put it somewhere. It's a holiday ornament. So we're giving away 2 games and the holiday ornament, just with easy trivia questions. And if you want to look them up, the answers on Google, you totally can. But anyway, let's bring on our special guest of honor, and we'll get our interviews going. And think about your questions. If you've seen the movie, anything you want to ask Mike, but we're going to ask our questions first. All right. Is everybody ready?
No, we're first. No.
We're first. I'm first.
All right. Hello.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Good. How are you doing, Mike?
Doing well.
Good. Awesome. The movie is out and everybody's loving it. I've been seeing such amazing reviews, and it's just an honor to have you here to talk about your movie. And so I'm going to just get into it. All right.
I gotta say one thing before you get started.
Yes.
I want to reiterate the point you just made, and I will not say the person's name. Not that it would even matter. Mike probably doesn't know this person, but Anthony and I have I guess you call it a mutual friend. One of those guys that tends to hate everything. Like, they hate everything. Every movie's just, it's the worst. It's the worst. It's the worst. he posted on Facebook today,
Right.
I'm calling it now. Best slasher of the year, best remake of the year, best movie in the Silent Night, Deadly Night franchise. And we were like, oh my God, he liked something. Like this
person
so,
hates
people
everything.
are loving it. Yeah.
Oh, that's good to hear.
Yeah, it's resonating. It's a great movie. So, all right. So I'm going to ask you some things that maybe other interviewers haven't because the movie is out. And these are also things I want to know. So I thought, let me just ask because I find some of the storyline to be so compelling and fascinating and very intricate. So, but first of all, I want to ask you I read a comment that said this movie, and I'm reading from a note here. It said this movie is it's sort of like Dexter meets Venom with a dash of Hallmark Christmas charm and a sprinkle of Wes Craven's Shocker. What is your reaction to that? Is the Hallmark King a compliment?
I mean, I'll take it. It's funny. The Venom comments are really interesting to me. I've actually never seen the Venom movies.
Oh wow!
And so
okay.
I don't. I mean, I guess I'm familiar with the character in the comic, but
Right.
I never actually. And it's weird because I grew up and I loved. I think I had a Venom action figure, but that's all I had.
Okay.
Yeah, Venom looks cool.
That was it. Venom looks cool. He was the bad monster guy that fought Spider-Man, and he was way cooler than Spider-Man in my opinion. But I just never saw the movies. And so when I started to hear the relationship to Venom, I was like, huh, maybe I should check these out. Yeah, I mean, I guess the Dexter thing is definitely there.
Were you a Dexter fan? Did you watch the series?
I only watched the first 2 seasons or 1.5. Did I get through 2? I can't remember. Okay. I'm terrible, dude. I am terrible with shows. I'm gonna be a terrible guest, by the way. This is already starting out terribly. No, yeah. I mean, I don't know if that's surprising or not. I remember, yeah, I got to I think I was deathly ill. I got really sick. Oh yeah, this is interesting. I got really sick, and then and I was in a car accident. I was riding passenger, and I got really hurt, and so I was in agony to lay down in a bed, so I had to be out on the couch, and so I just popped my laptop open, and I just binged through the first, I think it was the first 2 seasons of Dexter. I did not make it to the John Lithgow one. Is that 3?
I think it's 5.
4.
Or 4? 4. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't make it. Whatever it was, I didn't make it to that one.
That season is amazing.
That's I know, right? I stop at the worst possible time. But honestly, and again, this is going to completely destroy all my credibility. I did the same thing with Breaking Bad. I watched the first 2 episodes of Breaking Bad, and I was kind of I don't know if it's my thing.
Yeah.
And then I watched the 3rd episode, and I was like, this is the best show ever. I was like, I stopped and I didn't watch any of it for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I just I don't know. And then it was religion, every single, and I started obviously when it was already in season 3 or 4. So I started back at home and just started going through it again because it was on Netflix or whatever. And anyway, that's the long roundabout answer to yeah. I mean, look, I was inspired by fun family Christmas movies, so I guess the Hallmark thing tracks. For me, it was it was Santa Claus, the Santa Claus, Elf, and Home Alone, that kind of vibe. And then and then of course, as you've maybe heard in some other interviews, Pixar movies, Inside Out, Up, and Coco, and then and then I always say I sandwich that between Frailty and Adam Wingard's The Guest, and you have Silent Night, Deadly Night. So that's literally, I was watching all of that at the time that I was writing.
Amazing.
So that's kind of what the inspiration was.
Frailty is amazing, and taking elements from, being compared to Dexter is not a bad thing at all. It's a great thing.
No,
There's so
no.
many differences. So anyway, so I wanted to ask you, like, where did the idea come from for having this sort of entity transferring, from like one person to another, but also the very intricate set of rules there are, because it's not just, oh, somebody's inside me, whatever. No, it's like Billy's eyes are needed to see somebody. And there's there's like, how does he know, and all of that. So there's a very, I wouldn't say complicated, but intricate set of rules that are in place. And it's more obvious the more you see the movie, how many rules there are, and how, how did all of those rules, where did those come from? And also the general idea of this entity going into Billy come from?
Yeah, the entity was, God, I'm honestly trying to think. Like, I remember when.
I mean, is it an entity? I mean, is there a force that is?
Okay, so Charlie is literally the guy who was the janitor, right?
Right.
So the way that I kind of came up with this whole thing was, it's been passed down this has been something that's passed down for a very long time. It's very we'll say, oh God, I mean, like, it's okay. So
Ancient,
it's ancient pagan shit. Like, I mean, it's I remember reading about, like, what was it, Saturna or whatever, and like the weird, like, sacrificing of like children, and like it was like you go back, like, where Christmas actually like starts to stem from, and how it was completely bastardized into what it is now, and you're like, oh wow, Christmas is really messed up.
right.
Which I found was like kind of perfect. And then I mean, I think it was more so like, yeah, like, what can we do to kind of like feed into, like, there's like all these different lores. There's like the Belschnickel and all this stuff, and how can that play into this kind of Santa Claus mythos of, like, obviously our Santa Claus now gives gifts in lumps of coal. There are plenty of stories from the past of Santa Claus beating children for being naughty, and that's not Krampus either. Like, I know Krampus does that, but like Santa Claus was also, and that was this Belschnickel fella,
Okay.
that was there to like frighten children to be good. And so honestly, it was just a little bit of like piecing little bits of lore together that I liked from
Love it.
actual things, and then like
Mhm.
kind of formulating my own, because I was like, if I'm going to do this, I'm not going to sit down and try to like make sense of it and track it back to just like one very specific thing, because then honestly, then you're stuck. You're stuck. That's the thing. And then especially if you commit to that and you're like, yep, that's what we're doing. We're going all the way back to
Right.
ancient Rome with the Saturna and the sacrificing of children. Like, oh boy, then I'm going to get myself in trouble if I want to continue and sort of continue on with this lore. So I was like, I'm just going to pick the things that I like the most. I'm going to make my own lore, because as soon the more that I read into this, there's so many different lores,
Exactly. Yeah.
that have to deal with Christmas or Saint Nick or, Santa Claus or whatever it may be. God, they're just, it's insane. So I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm going to make my own.
Well, I love how they work
And
together. It's not like he's possessed and is like,
no,
the devil made me do it or whatever. It's
yeah.
like,
Well, and
Billy can choose to not do this. He could
yep,
be
and
like,
then,
screw you, I'm not going to do
mhm,
this. I don't care who
mhm,
dies. But
yep.
they work together and they sort of make it work. I love that about it. That's my favorite part of the movie, is the fact that they're working together to make
And
the best of this situation that they're both in.
exactly, and I mean, so obviously he's got a guy in his head who for God knows how long was doing this. You know what I
Right.
mean? And so he knows the ropes. Not to mention, he had a whole life lived prior to this, so he brings sort of like some fatherly wisdom, and he also knows what has to be done, and he realizes the consequences if it's not done, because he's gone through it. He's experienced. He says it in the movie. I've been here before. He's like, I know.
I love that line.
And so
Don't put the suit on. I've been there. I know what happens, right? So he's got this like wisdom.
correct. And so, yeah, for me, it was like, okay, I think where it all started was I wanted to toy, I wanted the audience to go in and suspect that Billy is crazy. he's got the voice in his head. He's the son of Sam. My dog made me do it. Like that's
It's
kind
like
of like
Norman Bates and his mother. It's like,
correct. That's spot on. Like
yeah,
that kind of psychosis, that kind of schizophrenia, whatever you call it, is there. And to me, that's something that I feel like, on a first watch, when people are first getting to know Billy, they're like, oh, I know what this, I've seen this before. I know what this is. So immediately you sort of, you sit back, you fold your arms, and you're like, okay, all right, let's see where this goes, because I think I know what's going to happen here.
yeah,
And then it doesn't.
right.
and then it decides to say, no, there's something more to this. Well, what's the more? I don't understand. They're having
That's
these
the part where
conversations.
everybody goes, that's when I fell in love with this. That's when it got me, because
Mhm.
that's what I think is great, because then you watch it again and you go, well, it was there the whole time. He's clearly having a conversation with somebody, but you just make your brain has a way, like people's brains have a way of filling in the blanks and making assumptions, and they're just thinking, oh, he's got a voice in his head. But
Yep.
hang in there, it's so much more juicy.
Yeah,
So,
no, and and so honestly, that's sort of where it stemmed from. And then it was, I think one of the more important parts of that whole relationship was that it actually, you start to realize it's a relationship. It's not just, the demon voice in his head that suddenly gets a conscience. It's like, no, this is like another guy who came before him, and he's like guiding him, and there is like an actual dynamic. It's kind of like a buddy film in a way. And in this film, one of the buddies falls in love with a girl, and the other buddy's like, damn it, like we got shit to
kind
do,
of
man.
like, oh my god, I don't want to be offensive, but it's like a conjoined twin, just kind of like in your head. It's like it's that kind of a thing where there's a completely separate awareness that is sentient and is there kind of with you for every moment of your life. It's so weird. It's the weirdest thing.
Yes,
I loved it. I loved it.
And I loved the first time I watched it. One of the first things I thought of when I kind of started to figure out what was going on was, I was like, well, he doesn't want to be doing this, so why is he doing it? It's just a voice in his head. Just stop doing it. And then it's like you almost knew that the audience would ask that, and the questions immediately answered, where it's like, well, wait a minute. If you stop doing it, you know what happens. Somebody else dies that probably doesn't deserve it. And I was like, okay, all right. I got it.
Yeah. And then, I mean, those are the fun things that were kind of discovered as I wrote. Was I was kind of like, okay, we're going through this. Okay, we got to set up some rules here. And yeah, that was a lot of the discovery, is, what things does he, why does he have to do it? Because that was a question, like very early on when I was writing. I'm like, God, he could just stop, and there's no, because if there is no like repercussions for not doing it, well then he's I mean, okay, great, he's a vigilante, like, but no, then there's like this other layer to it, and that was like, it makes it that much harder. You have to up those stakes.
Yeah. Love it. Where'd the advent calendar come from?
That was, it kind of was there as sort of, so I wanted it to be a ritualistic thing, but then also it served as sort of a ticking clock. It was like a countdown, so it's like we can see, both for Christmas's sake and for, purposes of the movie, we witness this countdown. And I was like, I've never seen that before. I've never seen the weird ritualistic, like nasty blood-stained advent calendar.
Is this something Billy is just doing, or is it part of sort of this curse, for lack of a better word? I'm a little frozen, but I'll come back.
No, you're fine. Yeah, a nice pose.
I look crazy.
No, yeah, I mean, with that was this. I imagine that this is a book that's been passed down a while. Maybe it's had to been remade, or something like that a couple times, but this is one that I think even Charlie had, in my opinion. So
this advent calendar has blood on it, probably for centuries.
Yes, I would say, yeah, I would say, I'd say at least yeah, at least hundreds of years. And because again, like I feel like there's going to be some of these things. Like the book looks old, but it maybe doesn't look like as old as like from like the 13 or 1400s or something.
Right, right.
But I think that's part of it. That's why he has to do it. It has to be marked. It has to be like, and there was always the question of like, well, what does there need to be like this I remember this conversation with everybody, and somebody asked like, does there need to be like some kind of sparkle or something? I'm like, oh, for the love of God, no. I think it's just I think that's part of the question, and that's part of the fun of it is like, what is this thing? And this is really demented. And then you realize that it's like fucking, if a Satanist sacrifices a goat on, over a pentagram, it's not like suddenly, the devil comes out of it.
Right.
It's like the blood just fills the pentagram or whatever, or they like splatter some blood on it. I mean, you fucking
Right.
Aster, Midsummer, smear your blood on the ruins, and it's not like anything magic happens, but there's some crazy shit going on in that cult for sure.
Love it.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about really.
Guess there's no chocolates behind those doors. I love it.
That's right, exactly. I'm loving the comments, by the way. The previous one said it's going to be a yearly watch for decades.
Oh man, that's cool. That's
yeah.
cool.
Oh yeah, I could see double features all over the place with the original.
We just need TBS to do 24 hours of Silent Night, Deadly Night. I mean, come on.
Oh, wouldn't it be amazing?
Oh man.
So the Nazi scene.
Yes.
I know if you're on this live stream, you've probably seen it. It's also on YouTube right now. I think it's still on YouTube. What do you feel about sort of like the not backlash, but the comments about it? I was shocked to see that because I didn't think that for 1 second that it was like woke or something, but I don't know if you wanted to address, if you don't want to, you don't have to, but to address kind of like some of the people that are saying, well, I didn't like that because it was political in nature or something. What are your comments on that?
God, dude, if taking out Nazis is freaking woke, dude, like my grandpa was woke in World War II, man. Like, come on, like Indiana Jones. Like, I don't understand that. Like, Nazis are like the ultimate. Like, not only are they just like one of the ultimate enemies of humanity. Or how does Sean Connery say it in Last Crusade? I didn't think you'd sell your soul to the slime of humanity. Like, I mean, come on, you guys. Like. Honestly,
I know.
What was it? What okay, so what? I'm like 43 years old, whatever. Like, okay, 30 years ago, don't tell me that like nobody would be having this conversation. It'd be as clear as fucking day that like a character going in and wiping out a room full of Nazis, people would be like, yep, go do it.
Yeah.
The fact that we have anybody even like coming out, there'd be no question. Now, granted, we didn't have the internet for everybody to hide behind a handle and say whatever the hell they want with no repercussions. Like that's the internet now.
Right.
I don't know. Like, to me, there's nothing political about it. It's just, Nazism stands for something that I feel like is pure evil. And for this movie and for Billy and his mission, which is to dispatch evil people.
Yeah.
This is sort of like the mountaintop, dude.
Exactly. It was like, now that brings me to another question. So even if he kills, and this is a question for you because you created this lore and everything, even if he kills 24 people, is it 24 or 25 people he has to kill? Is it Christmas Day or just all up to Christmas Day?
Oh God, I think it's 24 because
but what if he kills them all in the same day? It doesn't work like that. It's got to be one. So the fact that he killed like a dozen, because by the way, to some people have said there's no way one guy with an axe could take out 20 people. It's like, well, he takes out a portion of them. He does get attacked. He gets hit on the head with a bottle. He gets stabbed in the neck, and Delphine comes out and kills the rest half of them. So he's trying, and he probably would have failed, but for Delphine, maybe not. I don't know if he would have failed or not. But so say he killed like 12 people, it still only counts as one, right? in your.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, Delphine was chosen. When you
He
think of it,
chose
like
her, right,
J-
right.
Del, her, we do her tonight. Like she's the one.
Yeah.
He locked eyes with them. Charlie saw the evil. We take her out. The rest of everybody else, I'm honestly, that's freaking Billy, dude. Like Billy's just like, nope, not having
See,
it.
that's my next question, and that leads into the suits, because I've seen it a couple of times, and when Billy, see, the thing about the Silent Night, Deadly Night is like, why is he wearing a suit? I mean, I think that's the challenge. Like, does he have to? I mean, why can't he just walk around? It's like Dexter has like his little outfit that he wears, because I think it sort of puts him in a certain mood. But I think the suit goes further, because it's this, and I say that because I didn't notice this till the second viewing, that when he's sitting with he's sitting in the shop with the kid sitting on his lap, he's fighting himself from like killing this little girl. Is it because the suit has an additional power that has him lean into what he's about to do? It makes it easier to be a killer? Is that the power that the suit has?
Yeah, and I think I think that's something that he says it too, because she asks, like, do you have to dress as Santa? And he goes, it flips a switch. It turns from
Does
Billy
he really have to? That's my question.
into something else. Well, it's really funny because I've started toying around with a sequel, and started to come up with the next
Sure
few things could be, and how we expand the lore and what happens. And that was actually going to be a fun little moment in the sequel, where we start to, because I guess the movie's out, the whole thing, and I don't want to get too far into it. The question was going to be asked by one character: why do I have to do this? Like, this doesn't do it, like, you know what I mean? And he's like, no, you have to. Well, why? You know what I mean? And then that was where we were going to start to have a lot of fun with that, and our characters were going to start to learn not only more about themselves, but we were going to start to learn about the lore. And was Billy told what, he was
right.
Did this, was this a placebo? Was it, you know what I mean? Like there's all these things. And then we're, again, I don't want to go down that
don't
thing right now,
exactly.
because that's for
another time.
Hopefully another time. But the whole idea for that was, like, again, it's the concept of this Santa figure, and in this, it happens to be the easiest way for Billy to get to dress as a Santa-like figure, is to just order him off Amazon, order him online, and stock up on these suits. And this is where that lore kind of comes from, is this lore of the Santa Claus, the Saint Nick, the Belschnickel, and how they dressed up. Now, whether or not, because I'll say it, Charlie had a different suit. Freaking Charlie's was made out of like this like velvet, and like
it was a
like,
different suit.
it was like this whole other thing, you know what I mean? So to me, I don't think it's not necessarily like, oh, they got to be this certain kind of suit that you order online, because like that's never been the case. I think what it's always been is it's been about how do you say it, the symbology, and like that, and donning that is something that when you have this thing in you, you're kind of like, it's like Superman putting on his cape. Honestly,
exactly.
What's really interesting was there was a point, and we couldn't get the rights to it, but when he comes in to see Grandpa, I was trying to get like to the Max Fleischer Superman to like to do the change up in the old 30s 40s cartoon. And then I was going to mimic that when Billy was in the car telling Pam about what happened. I was literally going to just like take that thing that they did, where they did that cross dissolve between Clark Kent and Superman,
right?
Like cross dissolve, and I was going to do that with Billy in the Santa suit. Like, honestly, that was actually scripted. Like, that's like on the page.
Oh my God.
I wrote that, and it didn't end up working out, and it just didn't flow within like that narrative sequence, and it kind of like it was kind of rickety, and I was like, it was fine that we left it out, but that was actually part of the, like, it was going to do that, and then that was going to be like the mirror at the end.
I love it.
Or the bookend, I should say.
I love it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we do have people watching, and if you have a question, just type it in the comments, and Mike will answer for you. Nate will probably post it on the screen, and then we can answer it. But we can also do a giveaway. You want to do our first giveaway, Nate?
Yeah.
All right. Cool. So we have a trivia question, and we're just going to ask it, and the first one to type the answer in the comments wins. And we're trying to keep the questions easy so that we can give away prizes pretty quickly. We're first giving away the Silent Night, Deadly Night game. This is our first board game.
Yes.
Yeah, you have one, right? Mike has one, right?
Yes, I do. Thank you, Anthony.
You're welcome. It was my pleasure. Trust me. But yeah, just to give you quickly, this is just what the board. There's two sides to the board, but you've got scenes from the original. This is the original movie, of course. And there's a naughty side and a nice side, and all you have to do is stop Billy from getting to the orphanage. That's it. He's at Ira's Toys, and he's on his way to the orphanage, and every player is just trying to stop Billy from getting to the orphanage. It's a very simple premise. Every game is different. It feels like a retro game that came out in 1984. We designed it that way so you can drink a lot and still play, still follow the rules. So okay.
By the way, I love on the boards, because I also pulled out the Black Christmas one. You guys do like the nice foiling.
The foiling's the best. It twinkles like
nice.
Christmas.
Yes,
thank you, Mike. That means a lot.
Very nice. No, I like that touch.
All right. Well, Nate's going to read the question. Again, just type. The first person to type the answer will win, and then we'll ship you your prize.
All right. And there will be a follow-up question for Mike after this question that has to do with the answer.
Oh, God.
Okay.
You guys are going to murder me here.
The question, first person to get it right wins. What famous Silent Night, Deadly Night franchise line appears in the new movie?
Talk about easy. I'm watching the comments right now. Yes.
Oh, we got one. Garbage Day.
There it is.
Yes. All right. So, Holly, you win. Amazing. You're going to get your game. So if you could email us at the best way to get your information is just email us at beyondkillergames@gmail.com and just tell us you won the game and send us your full address and we will ship it out to you. So it's beyondkillergames@gmail.com. So what's the question?
Right. Follow-up question. This is coming from me. I just have to know. I have to know. Was that something that you always intended to include in the script somewhere? Or were you just kind of like, if I don't have someone say Garbage Day, I'm going to get fucking cooked. So I have to put it in there somewhere.
So, yeah. So, okay. I'll try to make this short. It's not a very crazy story, but it is fun. We wanted to do it, and we were trying to figure it out. And like, we didn't want to just like have it pop up out of nowhere, just like to say it, because I was like, gosh, there needs to be a moment where it just feels natural. But then, there's literally some people that are like, oh, wait, did he just like, because it is so the way it is in the movie, it's so nonchalant.
Right, exactly.
It's not like part two. I remember we were shooting, all this B-roll. We were shooting the Billy montage, and I was like, oh my God, this is the spot. Like, he's flipping burgers, and his boss is gonna razz him. Like, we just see that he's got the shitty like fast food job, and that's when I asked Scott Schneid to be the guy to say it, one of the producers of the original film, and of course he was like, oh my gosh, yeah well, okay. You could just tell he was so excited. And we got him up there. We shot it, 3 or 4 times. He gave us a couple different takes, and I was like, yes. And it just, and it worked so well. So to be clear, I was like, I knew that I wanted that Garbage Day line to come at the end in our montage, but I didn't know where it was going to be. And it was a moment that we found when we were sort of there on the day. That was kind of winged.
Yeah, I kind of like how you guys fit it in there without like creating a scene around it. It was just like, it was just kind of happens, what you know, or very, I want to say organically, but like quickly and appropriately, and who you had to it was great. I mean, we obviously know Scott because of the games, and we love Scott, and he's such a ham in real life.
Oh, he's great.
So animated, and I was like, and he, yeah, it was just great to see him doing.
My favorite thing has been all the comments online that's like, Academy Award for that random extra that said Garbage Day. And I'm like, it's not a random extra. You don't understand. It was Scott.
It's like, you know, Hitchcock and Psycho. It's kind of like, you know, if you don't know who it is, it's fine. But if you do, you know.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. Yes.
I love it. I love it. Okay. Well, Holly's asking, is there any reason for not including the little brother character? Ricky, good question. Good question.
Oh, you know, I think my focus here was Billy Chapman. Like that was like, I knew that I was going to go in. There were going to be some differences. And it was going to be a telling from my side of things, but it would have left, I think, more questions or another thing that I would have had to answer. I knew sort of how I wanted to end this movie. And I know how the original ends with Ricky saying, naughty. And I knew I wasn't going to go there. So I'm like, where am I going to fit in, you know, the little brothers arc? And I really don't want to, you know, have this shotgun Santa guy murder a kid in the beginning of the movie either. And then it's just what, you know what I mean? Like, it just didn't.
It was just more story.
It was just, it was an extra piece to the puzzle that was kind of rogue that I knew just didn't fit in this story. And so that's why I didn't decide to include it. And I knew that there was going to be a passing of the torch.
Right.
And we were going to do it differently than the original, which that movie passed the torch in a awesome way too. And it's the little brother, you know, saying it, which is tons of fun. This one was going to be different. This is going to be a love story. And then, you know, that torch was going to be passed to Pam.
Right.
Well, and what's interesting too about all that is like when you really break down the original movie, I mean, Ricky's an infant in the opening of the movie, and then he's really not a character in the movie. You know, it's like he's an infant in the opening scene, and then you see him again like at the end of the movie. And the only reason we even talk about him, regardless of how the original ended, the only reason we really talk about him as a character is because of what they did with the sequel, obviously.
Yeah.
But if you just take the original Silent Night, Deadly Night, forget about the sequel, you know, he's really not much of a character. He's just kind of there. Like, so it's not like you took this character that was like, oh my gosh, how could you get rid of this? He was such an important character in the original movie.
Yeah.
You know, that's how I saw it anyways.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it was a choice, but knowing full well kind of where I wanted it to go at the end was gonna be different.
Yeah. Was the foster mother kind of that whole thing with the house of kids, and so was that sort of just a replacement of the orphanage? Is sort of like you give it that kind of footprint in there. I love all of that. I love all that when you start to go back there and the kid drops the little figurine and everything, and it gave such a sense. It gave a perspective and a timeline. It felt like a long journey, you know. And this lore goes back how long, you know, and with the Advent count era, it just gave it a perspective and a weight than just present day. I'm really glad you went back there because that's what the original movie did. Like we spend a lot of time with young Billy in the original movie at the orphanage and Mother's Superior, and it's a big chunk of the movie.
Yeah. I remember when we were first kind of talking about developing a new movie with Scott. And that was one of the first things that Anthony pointed out. He was like, you know, orphanages don't exist anymore.
Exactly.
Like just right out the bat, he's like, you know, they don't exist. And that's like a big chunk.
Those are like evil nuns.
That has to go. Yeah, like that has to go unless you're going to set it like, you know, in the 80s again or something, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. The foster home thing I thought was it was kind of relevant, you know, and I think it's something that is talked about. Look, I mean, you know, there's some great foster homes and there's some really, really bad ones. And this was sort of like a great mirror to that, that storyline that involved abuse
Yeah.
at the hands of a Catholic orphanage. And then of course, we could just, I could put it in this like really cool mid-century house, and and yeah, and it was like this perfect doorway too, to like to give us our nod to the antler kill as well. It was like, as soon as all that kind of synced in, I was like, I know how this is all gonna happen. Like it was weird. It just all fell into place
It all
really,
kind of
really
falls into
nicely.
place. I also love how the antlers swivel downward, and like it just
Yes.
made it a little
Yeah.
bit more vicious.
Mhm.
It's like so many people have antlers like on their wall. If it, like it's a weapon on the wall.
Mhm.
And it was
Yep.
so funny. You know what I also really loved, Mike, was this touch that you had where he said, I wasn't really good at it when I first started. Do you remember that there was an old show like back in the 70s? It was called The Greatest American Hero. Do you remember that? Like it was like a Superman kind of guy that just didn't know how to fly very well, and like
No, I don't know this.
he would land and crash into trees and stuff like that. It was called The Greatest American Hero. But like it would make sense that if you're going to start killing people, that you're going to be like, I've never done this before, and I'm going to just impale you. And I love
Yep.
when he takes his hand off and he like kind of passes out. I love those little moments, and you have so many of those like little moments.
Well, and if you notice, like throughout the whole movie, he's got the scar from that moment.
Yes,
On his
I did
hand.
notice
He's
that.
got,
Yeah, on
and
repeated
that
viewing.
was like supposed to be like, it's like it's like the how do you call it, it's like the stigmata or whatever, that's not fully realized. Stigmata is both, but
Right.
he
Oh,
only got the
right.
one, and that was always sort of like this thing, like he's been chosen. He's there to take away our sins.
Yeah. I just love that, because you got to start somewhere. No one's ever good at anything when they first started, especially if you're this like vigilante murderer.
So yeah, he picks up Mother Mary from the Nativity, which is like,
Right.
is like the foster mom, just like
Like he was taunting her, but like, and you're with him, you know what I mean? Like that's what I really like. It's because we say this is a complete like reimagining and all of that, but you're kind of sorry for Billy in the first movie as well. He's in such a precarious and sad situation. It's a confluence of things. Grandpa tells him Santa's real and he's coming to get him. He sees Santa kill his parents. He goes to the orphanage, and then he wears the suit. And then there's also in the original movie when his psyche cracks, Santa's watching is playing, and so the song is even playing, and so it all just kind of all comes together, and so does yours. And I think there's a sympathy for both characters.
Yeah.
Even though in the first one he's cracked and he's like, if he just perceives you as naughty,
yes,
he kills you.
Yeah.
But he's still killing people. So, but they share similar, as different as they are, they share a lot of.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, that was important to like have to maintain some of that vibe, but also again to make sure that we did feel sorry for him, and and except for front loading the story with Billy's story,
Right.
it was dropping you right in and being like, here we are, and we're not going to explain anything to you other than, well, I've seen that. I've seen the car or the murder on the road before. Okay, this is familiar, but now where am I? What's going on? And again,
Yeah.
I love being like I like when movies sometimes are like 2 or 3 steps ahead, and I'm like, somehow this is all going to come together. I just have to wait and see. And then of course when it starts to do it, it's like one of the most like, oh, and that was sort of the fun of doing it. And then of course leaving the exposition for the end, which, yes, Anthony, to your point, like it sort of then gives it a little bit more, like it gives it like, it feels bigger. It feels like this is even though we're just still in the story, it makes it feel like it's
totally,
we've witnessed the whole thing.
Absolutely. It feels like you understand the journey and what he has to go through. So throughout the rest of the year, does he have murderous tendencies, or is he just completely, does Charlie leave him alone? Or I know he talks to him and there's that scene where he's shaving, and do they continue to have like a brotherly father-son kind of relationship, or does Charlie kind of leave him alone for a while?
I always saw that Charlie's there, dude. Like Charlie's with him. Like, I feel like, especially like when he was at the foster home, and then when he left, like that's kind of why he always said like he was like a father. he knew that like this kid was the chosen one, so I got to take care of him. So I'm gonna help him and tell him what to do, and
Yeah.
I'll be
Yeah.
the dad that he doesn't have anymore. And that's where I feel like Charlie's, as much as you may struggle with him at times and what he's asking Billy to do, he's for most of the year he's either leaving him alone or he's guiding him. He's like,
Yeah.
he's like, Billy, don't do drugs.
I love that. I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
I have a question about what if Billy wasn't there? What if it was just, say Billy was not even there and it was just the two parents that Charlie was following and he killed them but somehow got killed himself? Would the whole thing have ended with this whole lore, this whole centuries of killing people? Unless there's some demented squirrel nearby that he's
Wouldn't that be something? No, literally the world just explodes. That's it. It's over.
That's the best answer, honestly. Yeah.
I guess so. I guess he would just
Yeah.
it just would have died or something.
No, that's it. Again, like there's a lot of this fun stuff. There's
a lot of unanswered questions. But
yes, there are, and this is the stuff where it's like, I'm not going to sit here and lie to you that I know like every single little teeny tiny piece of lore that goes on in here, but these are the kinds of fun things that, like, again, with if there ever was another story, like these are the kinds of things that are like fun, because now you sort of like, you got tossed in, you get a preview of what this lore is, and now, and especially like the thing that kills me too is like Ruby's just gonna murder me, but like I just the fact that like it would the character of Pam, I think, would just be always asking questions, like, and I don't know if you guys are familiar with Dog Man or Cat Kid, those books. Like Cat Kid is always asking why,
right?
But why? And I literally feel like that would be Pam. She would never just go and do it. She would just be like, yeah, but I don't want to do it that way. And Billy's like, no, I don't want to do that. And that, to me, that is just like, that's where I get a kick out of where we could go with it. Anyway, lots of those fun questions to be answered, though, for sure.
My opinion is that I think that it's good, even if you explore more of the lore in sequels down the road. I think it's always good to not explain too much. Always,
yeah, and honestly, we don't need
the mystery.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I don't need to know everything either. I'm just curious because the more you think about it, the more sense it makes.
Mm-hmm.
But it also asks, like, every time it makes sense, you've got another question. It's like, well, how far does this go back? And can't the whole idea. Oh, I love this. Here's this kid Billy who's terrorized by seeing this guy just kill his parents, and yet he opens the door and he's got his hand. He's reaching out to him because there's this like. They're drawn to each other. Something about this force is like magnetic. And I love that. It's like it wants to exist. Whatever this force is, wants to not live, but I don't know, get passed on or something. I love that. I thought that was great.
It's an angel of vengeance. And if it's there to do good.
Yeah.
In a very Bronson-esque way.
If you told me that in Los Angeles there was someone going around killing heinous people, I'd be like, okay. I'd be like, I think I can handle that. You know what I mean? Like, there's something comforting in the idea, but still, it's still wrong. But it is. And okay, you kind of give it a pass.
It's why it's been toyed with in literature and films since the beginning of time, like that whole like, well, should I be the judge, jury, and executioner? Is that my job? It's fucking biblical, dude. It's a crazy crazy thing to deal with. And as soon as you start diving in and writing something like that, you're starting to ask yourself a lot of those questions, but it's also where the kind of the fun of that all is. So
now when you were coming up with the concept, that concept that you used, was there ever like a question, like were you ever like, well, if he's only killing truly awful people, is he really like a villain? And are people going to be like, oh, well, he's not killing, I'm not afraid of him because I'm not a bad person, he's not killing me. Was that ever like a question that like you kind of toyed with a little bit of, am I making this character into a good guy, so to speak?
Yeah, but I mean that was, I think, kind of the idea was I didn't want you to understand it right away, but I
Mhm.
wanted you to get to a point where you're like, Billy, I got
Yeah.
him. Yep, I got you. I'm Team Billy now for sure. I might
Yeah.
have had questions at first, but now I'm Team Billy.
Well, and it makes sense. I think it's the perfect movie to reboot and do that way because, again, as everybody said, we have sympathy for Billy in the original Silent Night, Deadly Night. That was one of the things that kind of set it apart from all the other slashers out there, was like, you really kind of are like, yeah, he's killing people, but I feel bad for him. Like, I have sympathy for like what he went through and why he's doing it. It's almost like you just kind of took that to the next level.
Yep.
And I mean, it worked for me. So
Yeah. Well, we have a question that's in the right here about what was it like directing this reimagining? Just generally, what was it like on set during your shoot? Was it one of those shoots that just every day is a blast and everyone's amazingly happy, or was it any major issues you had filming?
I mean, I mean, a lot of laughter. We were
Awesome.
laughing every day. It was just, yeah,
Good.
there were definitely days where you're just kind of like, wow, like this is what we're doing. Like this is fun. But then again, like, and anybody who's shot a movie in like, 20 some days, will tell you it's hard, especially when it's not just like one or two locations. Like, we were all over the place.
Yeah.
And that was challenging. We had a lot of night shoots, and
Yeah.
and so yeah, definitely challenging days, a lot of things to overcome, but I'd say the overall vibe on set was, it was very jovial, and lots of fun, lots of jokes. Yeah, it was great. And I mean, a lot of that came from our AD of all people, Reed, who was fantastic. I've been able to work with Nick Junkersfeld, my DP, now from just about everything. So again, him and I share a very similar sense of humor. And then of course you put Ruby and Roan in the mix, and then it's just it all hell breaks loose.
Yeah.
And I mean, there were days that we were crying, we were laughing so hard. So yeah, it was a good shoot.
Good.
In terms of just like having fun, and yep, this is the movie we're making. Some days where we were like, I remember there was a moment where it was like, I think we were shooting for 4 days straight, 4 or 5 days straight, and we did not do one kill, and we all started to wonder, what kind of movie are we making here? Like, is this a horror film? And I think
that was when you were shooting the Hallmark stuff for the
yes,
movie.
like, yeah, like the makeout in the basement, the stuff in the store, because all that stuff was jammed together, and there's no
Right.
like,
You film it out of sequence, right?
yeah,
So that
you
you can
film it
make
all,
right. Right.
yeah, and so you get to this point where it's like,
I haven't seen one blood bag.
yeah, I just want to like, just can we just like load the blood cannon and just like shoot a wall with it or something? Like, I just need to just cover Roan in blood.
Holly's asking, were there any tropes from other Christmas horror movies you considered or specifically avoided?
I did want to keep it. I wanted to keep it very axe heavy, just because that's just what I associate with Silent Night. Now, obviously, we did our nods to a lot of the original kills, like bow and arrow, Christmas light, strangulation. There's obviously the hammer death.
Yeah.
Antlers
for everything. It was all there.
it was. I did want to make sure and do that. Like, again, the DNA needed to be there as much as the idea was more sort of an original idea. Yeah, I think that was. I think we did get some notes at one point that was like, do we need to up the do we need to up the Christmas kills? And I was like, I think we might start to get a little gimmicky then. And that was kind of my response. And I didn't get a lot of pushback from it after that. I just, it's like, I don't know, it's Billy and his axe. And then like, we're going to get this montage where he like goes through and we revisit like all the classic kills. So I'm like, I don't know. Like, I don't know if they have to be Christmas. Like he's
Something like an icicle down someone's throat, or
Yeah,
something
like,
that would be like a little like cheesy kind of, not, or a
Yeah.
little like trying too hard or something.
yeah, I mean, like, I don't know. I think it was more about doing some fun, unexpected things. I think the setting at Christmas, having these kills take place in very warm, inviting settings at times,
Yeah.
like with with like George and everything like that, and kind of floating through the house, and it's decorated for Christmas, and it's kind of mid-century, and it feels very warm and cozy. It's an old man with a sweater, and the lighting is kind of dim, and yeah, like that kind of stuff is, to me, that's, yeah, it's with an axe, but it feels very Christmassy. So.
Yeah. Well, there's a question in the comments here. It's Nate. It's the one after it. I don't know if you can flip through the comments, but we'll come to this about Ricky and Billy as a cameo.
Mhm.
But were you influenced by the look of Black Christmas at all? I did see the Black Christmas references and the
Mhm.
Easter eggs in there, but like his Black Christmas is one of my favorite horror movies, probably my top 3 of all time.
Mhm.
His Christmas is very warm, it's like
Yes.
and I love that. And so is your movie. And I think that's one of the reasons why I love the look of your movie, icy and cold, and it's great. But like when you're inside the house, there's this warmth to it. Was that
Yeah.
an influence to your cinematography at all? Or
I would say, yeah. There was that. There was the sort of like, the sort of warmer feel of like a show like End of the Fucking World, that we were inspired by. Yeah, it was the warmth of like a lot of like like Roger Deakins uses a lot of warm. His palette a lot of times is very, and not to say that he doesn't do cool, but like his palette, especially like in something like No Country for Old Men, is like very warm.
right.
And so there was playing with that. Yeah, I think that was the thing going in there. I was just like, if we can just make the movie feel cozy, like I'm good to
Yeah.
go. Like, and that was, so it was never about,
Perfect.
I wanted to make sure that we weren't getting too cold. Even when we were in our exteriors, which there is some coolness to things at times, but for the most part, we tried to keep things feeling gloomy and cozy.
The first time I got that really like literal warm, cozy feeling watching it was, and it's one of my favorite shots in the movie, when young Billy's walking down the hallway and
with the trees,
and all the trees are lit down.
I love that. I love that.
I was like, oh, this is great. This is great.
Yeah, that was a great shot. Just the trees and everything.
That would have been one of them for sure.
All right, let's do 2 more trivia questions. We're just giving away 3 games, so let's do 2 more. We'll do them quickly. We'll ask another question or 2, and then we'll call it a night.
All right.
All right.
Let's do it.
All right, so we are giving away the card game next. This is Silent Night, Deadly Night. It's a really cool little hexagon-shaped box, and inside you get a bunch of cards. The object of the game is very simple. You take you start at Iris Toys. You play Billy in the game. So you put the Iris Toys token down, and then what you're doing is taking these other cards that have Grandpa, Mother Superior, and your Killer Santa around it, and these are symbols in different configurations. You're building a spread of cards by matching the symbols around the center card. The conflict cards are showing up, which are the naughty and punish cards. So the goal is to complete your spread before the 6th conflict card shows up. If you can do that, you retain your sanity and don't kill anybody. But if the 6th one shows up, you crack and you go on your killing spree. So it's really fun. It's very addictive. We sell a lot of hex decks, and if you buy one, you can play the other. So since this is a Silent Night, Deadly Night conversation with Mike Nelson, we figured we'd give away the Silent Night one. All right, here comes the question.
All right, this one, it should be easy. I think this is maybe the easiest one. Who plays Billy in the new Silent Night, Deadly Night?
I
know we're really making it difficult, guys.
Wait, let's pick, like, while we're waiting for the answer, who is the most unlikely person to have played Billy?
There we go.
All right.
First answer.
There we
There
go.
it is.
That Halloween movie collector. Is this Pat? Is that, I know Pat has a podcast. That's Pat. So cool. You won, Pat. Yes, it's Rowan Campbell. Yeah, we just want to give away games, so we put you through the exercise of answering a question. All right, one more. Let's do one more.
All right.
And this is for the collectible Mini X, which is right here, and it is a cast of the real movie prop, a 3D scan replica made of resin of the real movie prop hanging behind Nate on the wall. If you haven't seen it, that's the actual axe used in Silent Night, Deadly Night.
All right. Last question. What is the name of the voice in Billy's head in Silent Night, Deadly Night 2025? We've said it on this stream, so I hope you're paying attention.
All right.
There we go.
There it is.
All right, Charlie. Yes. Very, very cool. Awesome. Well, if anyone has
Cool.
any other questions for Mike, just type it here. Mike, I love the movie so much. I can't tell you. I've seen it a bunch of times. It is just,
Awesome.
I love
dude.
it more every time I see it because I find something new in it. I love the music you chose, Blitz Berlin. Can you talk about what it was like working with the composers? Because that score is outstanding. And
It was
I've
fun.
noticed a lot of people saying that, pointing out the score. It has a really unique sound to it. What was it? How'd you get them involved? And what was it like? What was it like telling them? Because music is not a tangible, defined thing. So how do you
Yeah.
tell a composer how to score your movie? That's my question.
Well, I do have a lot of fun working with the composers when I'm doing a movie. I've generally been working a lot with Stephen Lukács on the other things that I've done, and then Blitz. They came to me. They honestly, they just reached they reached out over Instagram. And they're like, "Hey,
Wow.
man, like we like your stuff. Like, could we have a call sometime?" And I was like, "Yeah, let's do it." And then we just did it. and then and then this movie was like, it ended up it was gonna happen, and I was like, "Oh, okay, need a composer." Steven was working on Titan that we shot in Colombia, and so I couldn't double up on him, and I was just like, you guys wanna kind of give this a shot?" They're like, "Yeah."
Amazing.
And so that's what we did. So yeah, never, I guess that's the thing, like, never hesitate to reach out to people that like you want to work with. I'll do it too. Like, I'll reach out to directors and just ask silly questions sometimes. Sometimes I get a response, sometimes I don't, but you never know what's going to happen.
Oh yeah, and people are so easily reachable now. Why not?
Yeah.
Just ask.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And but no, like working with doing the composing, like I think that's the thing. One of the things I have so much fun with in post is, I know the sort of feeling. So you sit down, you have a call with them. There's usually a temp track of all sorts of other movie scores that you've laid in when you've edited the movie. And so it's sort of like a very rough blueprint of kind of how you want things to feel.
Yeah.
And so they had that, and then there were things that I could say, like, this is temp, but this temp is really working for me. And then I get to the next piece of, like, so this temp is, you can understand the vibe of it here, but I'd like to try something else, but it's got to have this weight. And I like that there's like a tick to it. You know what I mean? So if we can find what that is, and
Yeah.
this track doesn't necessarily have like this, like maybe we want to add a little bit more Christmas to it. So like if we can like find what that is, but like have that weight, it's heavy, it's low. So we have that, and then they would go off and they'd go through each reel of the movie and send me a bunch of stuff. And a lot of times it was stuff that was like, this is working, this
Yeah.
is good. This track, I think we need to rethink what this track is. I know that this is like the temp track in the film, but now it feels different. It feels weird. Like let's rethink this whole thing. Oh, okay, we'll go. We're gonna pitch you a couple things, and then they go back to the room. They a couple days later, or even at the end of the day, send me some ideas.
Wow.
Ooh, I like what's going on. I like this like back track and like this thing that's whatever this weird little
There was
that's going
so
in.
much of that in
I
it.
want that, but I
Yes.
don't want that little like jingle thing that's going through. So get rid of that. You know, like, oh yeah, no, I got
Okay.
you. And that was literally the conversation over the course of a month. Like it was like every day, almost for a month. It was just like, not every day, but like at least a couple times a week, like having conversations with them and giving them notes, and then they'd shoot me back stuff. And then it was like, as soon as, because it was such a fast turnaround, like that's fast for making a score for a movie.
Yeah.
They would just, they would, as soon as I signed off on things, they're like, great, okay, that one's done. And so they would just like file it away, and then that stuff could be dropped into the film, and our editor Jeff would drop in the stuff where it was supposed to be. He'd see how it was lined up, and then all that stuff get shipped
And
out to the mix.
it comes to life when you add the music, and it just there's one track that when Pam's dad is leaving the shop, right when he sees the kid and hears the noise in the truck, that whatever is playing there, is that a song, or is that what?
Okay, so that's two things. So that's some Blitz music playing. That's their score. And then it's Ruby Modine singing Silent Night. God, and I can't remember the gentleman who orchestrated the music for that Silent Night song, but it's a mashup. So that song comes on, Silent Night, Holy Night, and then he hears the banging in the car, and then Blitz's score starts to bleed in underneath it.
Yeah,
and it kind of
there's
weaves
something
in.
about that I loved. It just it's so
and
perfect.
so it's both of them. Yeah.
And that I went to go see it with a friend of mine named Jeff, and when the kid bangs on the wall, he jumped. He was like that. I couldn't believe. I was like, yes, you know. It's like, what the fuck? You don't know what it is, right? But I just remember laughing. I was like,
oh, that's good.
So,
yeah.
awesome.
But yeah, doing the music stuff is always, it's like when I get to that part, it's so much fun, dude, working with a composer. Like,
yeah,
I love music. I'm a drummer. It's, I'm constantly, listening to music. It's one of the parts of the process that I just really go down and just really dive into with whoever's doing the music. So yeah.
Is the soundtrack going to be available to buy?
I mean, I think right now you can stream it, and it's like kind of like the first round of it. I know that Blitz wants to do at some point they want to do a deluxe one where they want to add a couple more things to it. But I think you can get it on Spotify or Apple Music right now. The score.
Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, actually, I pulled it up the other day.
Is downloading it right after. Yeah.
Yeah. So it is there. And then in terms of like some of the needle drops and stuff, I don't know if they'll ever do anything with that. But most of those songs you can find on Spotify, and I'm sure somebody will make a mix of it online. And you can find all that stuff.
Absolutely. So. Well, we have one last question here from Pat, the Halloween movie collector. Was there any thought of bringing the original Billy in for as a cameo?
There was, actually. I remember. I don't even want to say it was way early on. It was early on, but then it was even talked about closer and closer to we got to pre-production. Even like it was just like how can we make this happen? How can we get him in there? Who could we cast them as, and drop that in there. At one point, there was even talk of bringing Linnea Quigley to do the antler kill again. Like there was all of these things that I think we wanted to do. We had these really fun ideas, and then when it came down to it, and this is going to sound crazy, but it did literally come down to budget.
Yeah.
Like it was just, it was flying people, it was lodging, it was then, and I remember they were like, so Mike, you either get, it was a pretty big toss up, and it was like detrimental to the story. I was just like, well, thanks for giving me the option. Like this needs to be in the movie, so okay, I get it. Like I have no choice here. Yes.
Yeah.
So there was at one point a pretty strong push for it. actually, and everybody was pretty on board for it. It just, when the numbers came all together, and it wasn't even crazily expensive either. It was just, the movie was such a tight budget,
Yeah.
and we were doing so much in the movie already. We just had to pick our battles, and that was one of them where we're like, well, this is going to be Rowan and Ruby's movie, and that's it.
That's what it is.
Yep.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, I know the Blu-ray and DVD are available for pre-order right now. So
Yes.
yeah,
Very
cool. Looks
exciting.
great. February, sometime in February, it's coming out.
Early Feb. So that's going to be exciting.
Yes. Well, if you want a prize tonight, I forgot to mention, please email us at beyondkillergames@gmail.com, beyondkillergames@gmail.com, and just tell us what you won and who you are, and send us your address, and we'll drop that in the mail to you. Mike, you're awesome. Thank you so much. Is there a sequel coming?
You know, I
Nobody knows the answer to that.
I know. I would love to. Again, there's definitely some more. There's some more to the story. You know, I feel like, you know, like a good book that kind of keeps you that ends sort of like on a cliffhanger, and you're like, oh, you know, I feel like our movie ends, and it ends in a nice sweet spot, where if there isn't one, I feel like we have them, and like you can use your imagination to completely fill in the blanks that come afterwards. So I feel like we have that. But if the sequel was ever brought up, I got ideas, man.
Yeah,
and,
I mean, you can go in a lot of really great places.
Yeah.
You know, one of the things that I was saying to Scott was, I love the look on Pam or Ruby's face right at the end. It's almost like she's kind of welcoming this, you know, or like, I love what Billy asked her, like, are you ready for this? Like, what a great line. It's like, because she just witnessed, I just got schooled, like Billy 101, like what he's been going through. And she looked like she really enjoyed giving Max what he deserved.
Giving Max a facial, yeah.
So I was like, this is awesome. And so I'm totally down to see what you do if you get the opportunity to do that. And
I think she's gonna enjoy it, honestly.
Yeah. You have to be careful on set. She might go a little too far or something. I don't know. Awesome. Well, Mike, you're amazing. Thanks for everyone for joining us.
Yeah, this is really cool.
Go see the movie again. It's great on the big screen. I mean, it's great. You know, you'll be able to see it on your TV, but go see it now so that you can check it out in the theater. And Mike, thanks again for joining us. And we'll see everybody later.
All right. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Thank